Ryan Tannehill wasn't able to go. What's going on there?
Well, coaches sometimes get testy about quarterbacks. Remember Nick Saban?
Yeah.
In the opener, right?
Quit asking.
About my quarterback. And they don't want to talk about quarterbacks. They want to talk about injuries. And I think he probably got a lot of questions. And you know what? In all honesty, I think as the week went on, he probably got hounded about questions about who was going to be playing quarterback. Because what was interesting is on Friday when this happened, you started reaching out to people, Friday, Saturday, Sunday morning. Nobody in the organization's responding. Nobody. Right. And when that's happening and you're being met with a cone of silence, that tells you that something's going on. And I'm sure that he was peppered with this all weekend long. And you get to the point where you just know your guy's not going to play. You got to go with the Brock-anator.
The Brocktagon.
Yeah. The Brocktagon. The Brock. How many ways we could say it?
Yeah, it's Brocktober.
Keeps hanging around. He keeps hanging around.
And so I just think sometimes like that, coaches, they get tired of it.
This is the second coach this year that basically said, go talk to the player. He did that. Pat Shurmur said that about Odell. It's like the coaches are saying, hey, you want answers, go talk to those guys.
It's the new we're on to Cincinnati.
So,
there we go.
Do we think Mike Tomlin is going to say the same thing this week when he's hounded about questions about Le'Veon Bell? Go talk to the player?
Well, if they ask him about his holdout, go talk to the player.
Is that the expectation that Le'Veon shows up this week still?
Look, talking to Steelers this week, and I said to somebody, you're trying to explain the mind of somebody who we have no idea what he's thinking, to be perfectly frank. So I think logic would dictate that he's there today, this week, at some point. Mm-hmm. He has told people that he's going to be there this week. His plan, we know his plan has been to report within the next week and to attempt to play against the Cleveland Browns 1 week from this week because the Steelers are on their bye this week.
Right.
That's the plan. Now, if you remember, when Le'Veon Bell didn't sign a long-term deal at the mid-July deadline, he also tweeted out, I'll be there for opening day and I'm ready for my best season yet.
Right.
And that didn't happen.
Correct.
So things change. They're fluid.
Right.
His plan has been there. His plan has been to be there this week. I think he'll be there within the next week at some point in time. When he does come back, I don't think he's taking over that job. Mm-mm. I don't think he becomes the one-man running back wrecking crew that he's been in other years, which, by the way,
probably is best for him.
Very well for him.
Yeah.
Because it's all about wear and tear and getting to March and getting to the offseason and free agency as healthy as possible with his little wear and tear. And so James Conner is, the fifth leading rusher in the league right now?
7 rushing touchdowns.
7 rushing touchdowns. Le'Veon 9 last year.
All of last season.
Okay, so James Conner's got to continue to be used.
Listen, this is a perfect situation for Le'Veon Bell. He's gonna get service. He's gonna get his time, and he's gonna have somebody.
You think he planned it like this?
No. although the bicep emojis going back and forth between Conner and Le'Veon Bell are interesting. Adam Schefter here with us. So let's move on to another team then. Yes. Who is in a more tenuous position of holding on to their current status? Case Keenum as the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos, or Vance Joseph as the Broncos head coach? They've lost 4 straight.
Well, I think right now, for the time being, both guys are safe. Right now. Short term.
Define right now. How short term are we talking here?
Well, here's the deal.
Yeah.
If you want to bench the quarterback, you're sticking Chad Kelly behind an offensive line that is in no position to protect him. And it makes a bad combination. And the Broncos have given no indication. Vance Joseph was asked after the game if he would switch about changing quarterbacks at this point in time. And the quarterback is not the sole issue there on offense. That offensive line has been and continues to be a problem. As for the head coach, who do you want them to replace him with? They don't have an obvious guy on staff. They're not happy with the way the defense is being run, so you're not going to promote one of the defensive coaches. You can't probably take one of the offensive coaches because they're busy installing and implementing the game plan. Maybe the special teams coach. It's always possible, but let me ask this question too. If you make the change now, Trey, if you make it now,
right?
What do you accomplish? You think this team is turning it around?
Nope.
Okay. So you know what? Give the guy the season. Let's see what he could do. Let him either prove his value or not. I think the Broncos fans believe they know what they'll see. And at the end of the year, whenever that is, then you make the change at that point in time. But you don't do it before then. It doesn't accomplish a whole lot.
Now we hear they may be shopping a couple other first-rounders. Amari Cooper, who, man, did he take a hit this past weekend, and their safety hard-hitting Karl Joseph. Where are we with that?
Well, this team, this season's not gone the way that anybody would have thought.
It's a mess.
It seems to be a mess right now. And when you're not winning, you'll listen to anything. Karl Joseph, I expect them to be completely open to trading to. they had some conversations regarding Amari Cooper, but I think it was teams inquiring more than it was them shopping him. I don't believe they're shopping Amari Cooper. I think that his name has come up with a couple of teams, but those teams don't think that anything is going to be happening there. Now we'll see. Again, if John Gruden could trade Khalil Mack, I guess he could trade anybody. So you never know how that happens. But when you also are in the state that they're in, I would think that you might as well just hang a fire sale on your front lawn and say everybody's for sale because nobody's playing well right now.
It's a disaster. The interesting thing there is that all three of those guys are represented by the same agent, which I find interesting in that situation.
Which three guys are you talking about?
Joseph Cooper and then Khalil Mack.
All
represented by the same agent. So you wonder if there's some issues going on there. So that's a disaster. It is funny. The last time the Raiders went over to Oakland and got smoked, Dennis Allen didn't make it back. They left him there. They can't do that. They got 100 million reasons why they're not going anywhere, and John Gruden's not going anywhere. But it is a chocolate mess.
Here's my question.
Yeah.
If both sides were being completely honest, John Gruden and Mark Davis, what would they say about their marriage and how it's worked out? If they were being completely honest. You think John...
It has to get better?
But do you think John has... listen, John wanted to get back to coaching.
No question.
And he was destined to do that. But do you think he has any second doubts in his mind, like, maybe I just should have stayed as a broadcaster? I would guess not, because he wanted to coach.
I would think not yet. I would think he needs a little bit of time to work on getting more of the guys, I guess, he wants through a draft and things like that, through a couple and some free agency, a couple free agent seasons.
And do you think Mark Davis has any doubts about hiring John Gruden? I would guess not.